Hi guys. Now I want to talk about my life from 2024 to 2025 and everything that just happened in my whole life, like the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So, 2024, I experienced my first heartbreak ever, and it really shocked me because I didn't think that this person would ever leave, and she left. And the reason why it hurt me so much was because she was technically like the only person that I spoke to as like a genuine friend. And we spoke for 2 to 3 years friendship. And then she just broke it off. She said, you know what? I have a relationship and I want to respect the relationship. So she decided to cut me off. And now I was like, but if you leave, then I have nobody else to speak to. And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but this is what has to happen. So I respected her decision and I let her be. I let her go and we never spoke ever since. And then I was like, I know I'll get over this person in a while, but I knew it was going to take some time for me to get over her. And I still think to this day I'm still not over her because I'm still talking about her to this day. But yeah, we were close friends for a bit and then, you know, she ended up leaving. But so I've faced so many struggles in this 2024 year of my life, as in so many. And I was working at Adidas from the start of the year. So when she left, this was December 26th of 2023, going on to 2024. And I was working at Adidas at the time. I was part time at Adidas, and Adidas had just cut my hours and it was holiday season, so the holiday hours were always higher than whatever hours before the holidays. And I was working at Adidas, and I basically one day I came home and I was just pretty much fed up with working there. Like I was working a 4 hour shift and I was pretty much exhausted and I did not want to work there anymore. And my supervisor, the store manager, basically told me like, hey, we don't know when there's hours are gonna come back up anytime soon. So if you want to quit and get another job, you can. So I took that and I said, okay. And I told her I'm going to leave and get another job. So I started looking for jobs and I didn't find another job yet. So what I did was my cousin told me that he got hired at the airport. So I ended up applying to the same place as him and I got the job. And I worked for Donata. That was a company at JFK. So I put in my 2 weeks with Adidas. So I left Adidas around January, February ish. So from February, I do the interview, I do the background check, and I do training. I get hired, I start that job, and I put in my 2 weeks at Adidas. So now, in the middle of me putting in my 2 weeks, they started giving me hours again, and I couldn't fully fulfill that week because I was still focused on getting the next job. So once I got the next job, my last day at Adidas came, and I was pretty hurt that it was my last day at Adidas because it was the most safest job for me. It was the most comfortable job for me. I knew it was 15 minutes away from my house. I knew that I could just go there. I didn't need anything. I already knew how to do the job. I didn't want to go into something that I didn't know how to do, so I just ended up going to do Adidas. It was comfortable. I never had it to leave because there was no point in leaving. The only time I had to leave was because they cut the hours because of Kanye West. He decided to say something to Adidas and he ended up, ending the contract, which made Adidas lose money. And with loss of product means loss of hours. So I had to leave. So I ended up applying to Donata. I got hired and everything was good. And then I started working there from March. It was good. I was learning about the airline, the flights, and how they run, how the airport industry runs in itself. And I started working at Donata. Now I'm happy. This is a new job. I'm getting paid way more because at Adidas I was only getting paid around $17 an hour, and this job had paid $20 an hour. So this was a raise, and I was going to do the best that I can at this job so that I can keep this job for a very long time. And that's what I told myself that I was going to do. And I ended up doing the most that I did, and nothing really counted. So, me, I was working at that job, months went by, and the first 2 weeks that I was there, I hated the job. As in, I didn't want to work there, I didn't want to be there. The job was so heavy. You were lifting bags and putting them into the cart, and then you would take the bags down. You would put them back on the belt when people go to get their bags at baggage claim. So you were putting the bags in the carts, and then you was removing the bag at baggage claim. Or you worked outside in the airplane. You were trying to help make sure that the airplane was ready for it to take off. And I did that. This job every day I was sore because literally you're going to the gym when you're working. You're going to the gym, you're working every single day. Like the first 2 weeks that I was there, my whole arms felt like they were finna break off my whole entire body because that's how sore they were. Especially if you did flights like Egypt, Africa, tropical places. They packed their bags so heavy. Their suitcases was so huge, and it's just like I couldn't do it. Like, but I needed the money because I had already quit Adidas and I put in my 2 weeks at Adidas. So I made sure I didn't burn the bridge because I just needed that job just in case if this job didn't work out. So that job, I just stuck with it as long as I could. And I started meeting new people at that new job, and I started asking people around, like, hey, do you like this job? Like, most people told me, like, they didn't like their job at all. They just did it for the money. So that's when I knew I was in slavery mode because I just if people working at places they don't like but they still go like nothing's wrong, then that's not the place that I want to be at. So, and I'm working at that job, and I'm getting attitude from this manager. She doesn't like everybody. I don't know why, but I respect everybody. So I pay it no mind, but it's starting to get to me because I'm on my phone. She sees me, she'll say something about it. But if she sees somebody else on their phone, she won't say anything about it because she's probably buddy buddy with them. But I ended up work at this job, and I couldn't do it. Like, and with Adidas, I was working at Adidas, and I had started my clothing brand. Started my clothing brand. I was trying to sell t-shirts, either t-shirts or hoodies at Adidas. And I almost got in trouble doing that because the manager saw me trying to promote it at the fit room. She didn't like that. So she just told me not to do it anymore. And I just felt like I didn't want to work at Adidas anymore if I can't really do my business at the same time. So I left Adidas, and everybody was leaving at Adidas because there was no hours. It was just part-time work. I went from 35 hours a week to 15 to 12 hours, and I couldn't survive because I was home for almost 5 days a week and I was only working 2 days a week. And that's why I had to leave because I felt like if they didn't want me there, then why not just fire me? I just did enough just to be there. And then one day I was working at Adidas, my supervisor told me like, "Hey, you're drifting away." And it was true. Like I was drifting away from that job. Like I ended up hating it because of the hours, like, and the customer service you know, being in front of all these people and still feeling like you're not worth it to the job. So Adidas was making so much money, but yet your paycheck was very little, and that really bothered me. So that's why I stopped putting my all into going to work. And then now I'm at Donata, and I honestly regret applying to a Donata because the way they let me go was the worst way possible. I worked at this company for 8 months, and if I knew I was going to get fired that way or let go that way, I would have never accepted the job in the first place. So When I got hired, my schedule was 8 to 4:30. That's the earliest shift that they had in the morning, and that's the one that I picked, and I was okay with that. So now I was on probation for 3 months. Every employee has to go through probation so that if they want to fire you, they just let you go if you do anything wrong, and then they let you go. So I ended up working there for only 2 to 3 weeks, and they changed my schedule from 12 to 8:30 p.m. So I'm going to work as a regular 8 to 4:30 because that's what was on the ADP. And I never checked the ADP because I knew that my schedule was 8 to 4:30 p.m. And there's so many things that was going wrong because it was the first red flag because nobody told me that the schedules were changing. They just changed. Now, when I got hired, they told me like, "Oh, your schedule is always subject to change," but I was still on probation, so I wasn't even officially in the system yet. So I was thrown off by that. But the managers let me slide, so I took it and I just kept my schedule because I got out early and I liked still seeing daylight coming out of work. So I ended up keeping the schedule, and then after 3 months, I'm continuing my schedule, and then they, some supervisor, short Spanish lady that has an attitude with everybody. She goes to the office. They bring me to the office. They start talking to me about my schedule. They say, "Hey, what's your schedule?" And I say 8 to 4:30. They say, "No, your schedule is 12 to 8:30. Why aren't you doing your 12 to 8:30 p.m.?" And I'm like, "Oh, because the managers told me it's okay to do it because if nobody says something, then it's okay." But I didn't say that. I said it was okay for me to do it because that's what the supervisor said. So now they said, "No, you can't do that schedule no more. So you have to do your 12 to 8:30 p.m. schedule." So I said, "Okay." So now the bid is coming up. So now the bid is coming up in about a couple of weeks. So the manager was like, the lower super manager instead of the higher up told me to change my schedule to 12 to 8:30. The other one was saying you might as well keep it because they're gonna change your schedule anyway. But that didn't happen. So 2 weeks come, the schedule change, and when you have seniority, they put you on a list. There's like almost 300 employees. If you were worked there for 5 years or later, you got priority access to morning shift. If you just got hired, that means that you had the lowest number. So therefore, I had the lowest number because I just got hired from that job. So I ended up getting a 2 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., which I was okay with getting that shift because I could still come in at a decent time and I can still leave at a decent time and still not come home too late. So I ended up taking it to the 10:30 p.m. and then they call me into the office and say, "Hey, you should not have that schedule. We made a mistake." So now they make me pick another schedule, which was 4 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. next day. They had 5:30 to 1:30 p.m. next day. They had 6 p.m. to 3:30 in the morning next day. So they only had night shifts and overnight shifts. And I could not take night shifts. I could not take the overnight shifts. So I just said, let me just put in my 2 weeks because I'm not going to want to get home too late. Now, I was scared to leave because this is my only job. This is the only job that's paying me. And this job was paying the most from Adidas. This job was paying $20 an hour. So that means my paychecks were about 650 after taxes every week. So I was cool with that. So I didn't mind doing that. But at the same time, it's like I had to pick my safety. So I left that job with little savings, no job lined up, no backup plan, just me and my YouTube channel. And that's all I had. So I ended up leaving to pursue YouTube. And mind you, I was already doing YouTube, I was doing TikTok, I was working at the same time. I was doing motivational videos at the same time. And it was too much on my body. Like I was so exhausted all the time because I just could not think of any type of new content to make because I was so fried from working that I just put anything out just to put it out there just to be consistent. So 2024, I went through so much stuff. Like this job at the airport, I had to spend almost $35 a day just for transportation. I had to wake up at 6 in the morning just to get ready to go to work to get there on time at 8 in the morning. I would literally wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, get ready, get dressed, take the train at 7:30 to get to Jamaica and get to the airport at 8 a.m. on time. I would spend 17.50 just to take the train and take the air train, and then I would buy breakfast. So that was another $25 right there. Then I had to spend another 17.50 just to get back home and some food. So I was spending $40 a day, and I was making around $125 a day. And I hated that because I literally had no money left over because I was paying rent. My rent was 200, so I had to pay rent 200 for my mom, and then I literally only had about $180 left, and I had to pay credit cards off at the same time because I had maxed out my credit card because I was doing my clothing brand at the same time because I didn't have any money to start my clothing brand because Adidas was not paying enough. So Adidas wasn't paying enough, so I decided to start a clothing brand because the clothing brand everybody was doing it, and that's what I seen at the time. So I created Motivated NYC because I wanted to be a motivational speaker. So if I motivate people with apparel, then they could take their apparel with them everywhere they go. So basically, my goal was I sell you a t shirt that has a motivational quote attached to it, and you read that quote every time you step out the house. So that's why I wanted people to keep coming back to me every time that they needed motivational advice. That's the idea that I had. So I started promoting t shirts, I started giving them out for free. I ordered so many t-shirts from just the money I had, and to this day I still have all these t-shirts just sitting in my house. I wear them because I just don't have nobody to give them out to for free. So I just wear them myself, and I knew I know now not to order too much of your product before you know whether people are going to buy it or not, but I didn't know that before I started, so I ended up wasting a lot of money. And then at that time, I was doing lemonade juice. Now, lemonade juice was something that I loved doing. This was my passion, and I had started it. And the reason why I started it is because I knew that if I could create something that tasted very delicious, that people would always come back to me, and that's what I did. When I first started making lemonade juice, it wasn't the best. It wasn't good when I first started, but I kept practicing. I kept practicing, and I made it come to life, and it tasted very delicious. And I came up with a secret recipe, and I ended up putting vanilla with sugar and lemonade mix with water together, and it made the best drink possible, especially if you added your own liquor to it. It was the best tasting juice ever. So that's what I ended up doing, and I was making some money. But my mom was very scary. Like, she would do everything in her power to let me not do this business because she was so scared of getting sued. She was like, "Oh, if you get sued, then they're gonna take the house. You don't have anything for them to take." She would always indulge that in my mind. Every time I made juice, she would come and she would say, "Hey, are you making juice today? You know you're not supposed to be drinking too much juice. You have too much sugar in your system. You're not supposed to be. This family's diabetic." That's what she would always tell me. She would always tell me things to stop me from doing my juice because she thought it was just a waste of money, that I didn't make money. And she kept telling me like, "Oh, the reason why you have sales is because your family is supporting you because they're my family." And she would always tell me this, but she wasn't right all the time because I loved doing it, and I made myself a promise to always chase my dreams no matter what happened. Like, the reason why I started to chase my dreams in the first place was because if I didn't chase my dreams, I would have the guilt of whether it would have worked out or not. And surprisingly, it did work out for me. As in, I don't do it today, but the lessons that I've learned from doing it made me the better person who I am today. And it made me resilient. It made me not quit. It made me not give up. But it really made me open my eyes, like, because literally I think about my dream every day, day in and day out. So that's what I was doing to basically make more money because these jobs did not pay enough for me to sustain myself because I just wanted more. Like, I don't know. Every time I saw success, like I just wanted more of it. So I wanted to start a business. I was so entrepreneurial and everything, I was getting so much, hate just for trying something that I've never would have thought of trying before. So from working at Donata, working at the airport, like it was bad because I ended up losing myself because I didn't know what to do because I was working a job that I didn't like, that I didn't enjoy, but I knew I had to work that job or else I was going to be broke and financially unstable. So what I did was I just ended up buying things that I truly did not need. Like I bought a lot of stuff just to cope with being at a job that I didn't like. And I was doing TikTok videos. I would do motivational videos like 1 minute every single day. And I built a little small following of 500 people. And one person told me, I posted a video on TikTok saying, "Hey, I'm lost in life. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I don't know if I should be doing motivational videos or not." And somebody said, "Yeah, you might as well be doing this because, people, I enjoy listening to you and I get pumped up listening to you." And this is why I was so happy this year. Like the good things that happened in 2024 was every time that I chased my dreams, like I was always getting praised for it. But like every time I worked a job, I was never getting praised for the job. Like the only time I got praised for a job was when I got paid. And every time that I got paid, it was never enough for me. And I always wanted to work more hours. I always wanted to work overtime so I could get more money. I was chasing money, but I never found myself when I was chasing money. And I remember doing my lemonade drinks, and everybody kept telling me how good my juice was. I kept getting praised up for it. I got so many reactions of how positive it was. It tasted very delicious. Like because I took my time on it. There were a few people that didn't like my juice because it was either too sweet. When I was in the first starting phase, it was too sweet. And then when I started listening to other people told me that it was too sweet, I started cutting down on the sugar. Then I started putting less sugar in it, and people say it tastes better now that you put less sugar. I started putting syrup in my drinks just to make the colors look better so I can market it better. And I was selling to my friends and family. I was selling to my friends at work. And I had like two restaurants that I was selling to, one deli and one small little Jamaican Haitian restaurant spot. And I was very proud of myself that I got those spots because I was making money while I wasn't even in New York. So it was good for me because it felt like I was needed in this world and I was doing something that actually made a difference in the world. And then I started doing from lemonade juice, I started doing to motivational videos. I started doing YouTube videos on straight motivation. And I motivated myself every single day just to post a video. And every time I did a video, I was motivating myself. And then I just would post it just to see if it would get views. And some of the videos would actually help people, especially on TikTok. It helped people and it kept me going. Like, I was not getting paid for doing these videos, but I did it out of the kindness of my heart. And that's why I truly enjoy doing everything that I do now today, even though it doesn't pay me because it's from the heart. Because if it wasn't from the heart and if it was for money, then I would have stopped long ago. So, but I'm working this job at the Nada and I realized that I'm still coming up short, as in, I'm so miserable to the point where my dad one day asks me, "Hey, do you like your job or are you just going for the money?" I say, "Yeah, this job is all right. I'll keep continuing this job." Because I was arguing with him back and forth. I told him one day, like, I can't do the job because the job is just so rough physically on me. And then one day he called me a wimp. So I was just like, man, I'll just stay at the job because, I'm skinny so I could build some muscle. And I started to build a bit muscle, but at the same time, I still couldn't do the job because it was just too much work on me. And it's just like, because you were lifting heavy weight all the time. I had it was so much work. Like I was working there in the summertime, so it's very hot outside. I work outside. Outside is like there's like a shaded building where the carts go. So I was working outside, and if it was like 80 degrees outside, it was very hot and sweaty. So you might have passed out if you were working too hard and you overworked yourself. So you would have to hydrate yourself. If you don't hydrate yourself, you're gonna end up passing out. So that's what I ended up doing. And it's like when I was working so much, I realized that $20 an hour was $15 an hour. So that means I was getting paid way less at this job than at Adidas. And I was going to take the train back and forth. So I ended up doing the 12 to 8:30 for a little bit, and it helped me a lot because I ended up regaining my strength because somebody told me at my job if I don't take my sleep seriously, then I'm not my body's gonna shut down. So I ended up listening to him, and then 12 to 8:30 was the shift that I had to do. So I ended up doing it no problems, and I started resting, and I started feeling myself a little bit better. The only problem was I got home late at around 9 o'clock, but it was okay. I started feeling better with sleep, but I just went through a lot this whole entire year. And then I ended up trying to I ended up stop going to work because I was always working at work because Saturday and Sundays were my days off, and Sundays I would go on work when I was working 8 to 4:30. But then once they changed my schedule, I no longer had Saturdays and Sundays off, so I stopped going to church. So I ended up idolizing money. It was always about, oh, how many hours can I work? Can I work overtime? I wanted to work overtime at this job, but I could not do it because my body was too skinny. It was too much to work overtime. So I just never wanted to work overtime over there. But when every time what messed me up going to that place was every morning when I went to work, there was a homeless lady at Jamaica Queens. She would sleep on the floor every morning. I had to walk past her every single morning, and it was so much weird just walking around that area. Like there were people scary, just crazy, mentally ill people around Jamaica Queens. It's just it gives you the ick when you are around there. And in Hempstead, when you come home from Hempstead train station, it's like you see a lot of people standing on the street. They're smoking weed. They're just doing this. I seen a couple of fights just coming home from work, and it was just too much. Like this year, I really opened my eyes to new opportunities in my life because I feel like if I just start a business and I just let the business be successful, then I would never have to truly work a job that I hate because I was always working jobs that I hated. I never felt the real version of myself if I hated the job because I was always cutting corners. I always had a pride. But when I was doing my lemonade juice business, I was always the happiest because I was always smiling and I always had a passion for it because my passion grew as my skill set grew because everybody kept telling me how great my juice was. And I sold my drinks at barbershops. I was just telling random people about it. Like I even went above and beyond to sell it to Uber drivers. Like I was really trying to promote myself every way that I can because I wanted to prove my mom wrong about my juice business because I felt like if I made it with my juice business, then there was nothing that she could say about me because she always had something bad to say about it because she just didn't want me to waste money. And then my mom kept pushing, oh, go to a trade school, go to a trade school, and she's still pushing it. So I'm gonna end up going to this trade school so she could just stop pushing it on me so that I can just let her rock because I know if I don't do it, then she's gonna keep on just talking about it. So I ended up leaving this job at the Nada, and I ended up going through a lot. Like I ended up going through some funerals of this year. Like I had a grandma that died. I had a aunt that died, and it's just a lot. But don't worry about that stuff. There's nothing really wrong. Everything happened already. So, but it's just crazy to think like this whole year unpacked. Like I was really going through it this whole entire year, and I set goals out for me to just be a content creator, and those goals weren't really accomplished. Like I ended up stopped going to the gym. I had a gym membership. I stopped going to the gym because this job was already the gym enough for me, and it was just too much. Like I just never felt like I was myself. Like I was trying to grow and I never grow. I felt alone. I felt like nobody knew who I was, and I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. And that's when I started to make a YouTube channel, and I made a video saying I have no social life at 27 and how it affects me. And that video went viral. It has 1,000 views because I was talking about how bad I feel about not having friends, about not having a time to be able to go out. And When I first posted that video, it didn't do any views for like the first 2 to 3 weeks, but then after the fourth week, it skyrocketed out of nowhere. And I was getting so many comments on that video, people saying that, oh, they relate to it or they're going through the same thing. And I felt like, wow, I made a video of how I felt in the comfort of my house. And now that made me want to do YouTube full time. So now I always thought like, how can I do YouTube? How can I be a YouTuber? Because if I could just make money from my phone, staying home, I don't have to go to a job. I don't have to travel to a job that I hate. I don't have to work 8 hours out of my day. I could only do one YouTube video, two videos a day, and I could call it a day and still get paid from the comfort of my home. And that was the goal. And I was trying to at least, tell my parents about my YouTube channel, but I didn't want to tell them about my YouTube channel because the way that they treated me with the lemonade business, like they ridiculed me so bad. They would yell at me. They would do so many, ways just to tell me not to do it because it was a waste. My dad had to end up protecting me because I was just so focused in it that I blocked out all the noise. Like I didn't care what anybody said. Even my parents couldn't tell me anything. Like that's how dead focused I was on chasing my dream because if I'm gonna chase my dreams, I might as well make it come true. Like nobody's gonna stop me. Like, you know, I was very financially unstable, so that's the main reason why they didn't want me to do it in the first place. But I didn't care anyway because it's like I had to just do it anyway to just see whether it was gonna work out or not. And it's like I've done so many events. Like I did an event one time and that event sold out. I brought like 40 lemonade bottles and it all sold out. You know, I felt so accomplished in my life because I never felt like that anyway before. And I couldn't even do most events because I had a job. I had so many good events that all my stuff sold out. That's how good my juice was. And I really had different flavors. I had strawberry, I had blue raspberry, and I was mixing flavors just to try out new flavors. I had barbecues. I was working the whole entire summer. Like every barbecue event I did, it was a hit. And I was so proud of myself. Like all I needed was more marketing for my business. I felt like if I had more marketing for my lemonade business, then it would have worked out completely and my life would have changed completely. I sold a couple of shirts. Like I maybe sold like maybe 12 shirts. I gave the most out for free, but I didn't make enough money with the clothing brand. I didn't really make money with the lemonade business, but it was happiness to me. Like that's the only time that I felt happiness in life, you know. And I feel like I take life way too seriously. Like I'm always paying the bills, and then when I get paid, like it was to the point where I stopped getting excited for paydays on my job because I hated the job so much that I just wanted something else. And I felt like God was telling me to just leave the job and just let it be. Like, but I was so scared to leave because I'm like, if I leave this job, then I'm not gonna have no other job paying me. So therefore, that's why I decided to just stay at that job and just, see how much money I could just rack up before I left. And I felt like the reason why I was always miserable is because I was always broken. I always felt overworked and underpaid. But everybody that was overpaid, they barely did any work and they were getting paid way more. And I'm like, how does that work? The supervisors got paid way more to do less work. And it was unfair. And there was nothing that you could do about it. Like somebody died at the job. And that's what made me realize I cannot stay here any longer because I got traumatized from working there. Like they were all shocked looking at it. It was so crazy. There's so many things crazy be happening at the airport. Like you gotta really be careful for yourself out there because it's really crazy. But now I do YouTube. So I was 26 at the time and I had my birthday. I'm 27 and now I'm lost. Like I feel like I'm supposed to have everything at 27. Like I'm thinking I'm supposed to have a car. I'm thinking supposed to have a house, spouse. I don't have a career. I don't have none of that. So I'm thinking I'm lost. And the only way that I find myself is through making content. Like it's through doing motivational videos. And now I started doing Bible videos. And guess what? I end up getting laughed at for doing Bible videos. But guess what? I still inspired people. I still made people believe in God. So I still did my job. I still did something right. But I just ended up losing myself a lot this year. My faith wasn't there because I was doing things that I hated. I hated doing work that didn't mean anything to me. I felt meaningless. I felt like I had a void in my life. Like it was a bottomless pit. Like I used my phone at work to escape the job that I had. I would use ways to escape life, and I knew I couldn't escape life because things was just too hard for me. I used to play video games all the time. Every time I got off work for 2 hours, now I ended up stop playing video games a bit because I just didn't want to play anymore because I was not really good at the game and I wasn't really having much fun. So that's what I did. I stopped playing video games. Now I just want to focus on making content. Now I started doing content creation, and that's another thing that is hard. Like creating content is the hardest thing because when I first started, I'm thinking like, oh, if I post videos every single day, I'll get paid from it. But you don't get paid unless you hit the 4,000 watch hours on your channel, and it's so hard because people aren't interested in watching you if they don't know who you are. So it's hard to stand out when you don't know what to even post. So I just started doing content creation, and the biggest accomplishment that I had in this life was hitting 1,000 subs. I was the happiest because 1,000 people subbed to my channel. I was like, wow. I remember posting videos, and I still have my first video on YouTube uploaded about 2 years ago from February 2022. It's about how I started a clothing brand. And by the way, everything that I've done in my life is documented on my page, on my YouTube channel. So you can literally scroll down. Everything is documented on my YouTube page. I show the things I was doing at Adidas. I showed the things I was doing with my clothing brand, with my lemonade. I promoted everything online. I made a social media page for my clothing brand, Motivated NYC on Instagram, and I just kept on posting every single day just so that I can make sales. Like, and one thing I felt bad as an entrepreneur was I felt like I had to press for the sale. Like I feel like I had to push to get the most sales, but the most sales weren't coming. I felt like I was chasing money while I was doing it and not doing it for the love. And that's why I had to realize and check myself like I cannot do this just for the money. Like I have to do it for the passion because without the passion, then the drive is not there. So that's why I stopped kind of trying to be an entrepreneur. I just want people to support me for me. Like that's why I started doing motivational videos because if you feel motivated by me telling you something and now you are actually achieving greatness that you already had in you, you just needed somebody to tell you it. And if I did it, then I feel good because I'm making an imprint in the world. I'm doing something that's positive. You know, the best advice that I got that was when I was chasing my lemonade dream was to always do something positive and never give up. And that's why I never give up until this day because something has to come out of the pain that I went through. Like I was always taking a risk in my life. I did not want to not take the risk because I felt like if I never took the risk, then my how would my life change if I never took the risk? So I was going to take the risk regardless, and it's just like I couldn't give up. I could not strive for less than what I was doing, you know. Every time that I was working at Adidas, I was the most competitive person over there. Every time when it came to a game of sales, I was trying to be at least second place or third place and first place if anything. And I would aim for nothing less. I was always putting in the work in. I was always trying to help others out. And I did it. I surpassed a lot of people. Why? Because I was doing it because I love the game. And most people, when they chase entrepreneurship, they're not doing it for the game. They're doing it for the money. Yes, money is a part of entrepreneurship, but no, you got to do it for the game. If you don't love the game, then you're not going to keep on going. And this is why sometimes when you play video games, it's like you love being competitive, you love winning. The moment that you taste success, that makes you want to go. But me working at Donata at the airport, the one thing that made me so mad and miserable at this airport was that I could not travel. Like the first thing that I wrote was I wanted to travel, but these places were too expensive to even go to. Korea was too expensive, Japan too expensive, Germany, all these places I wanted to travel to, but I could not afford to do it. I would have to save everything that have every penny of my paycheck to just do it. But I had bills at the time. So that's why I didn't want to work somewhere I couldn't even travel the world and work there at the same time. So that's why I just hated the job so much. Like I just couldn't do it, bro. Like, and I felt like the environment that I worked at was so toxic. Like there were so many fights. There were people getting cursed out. It was just too much gossip, and then I had to worry about other people's business, and I just didn't like it. Like the managers felt like they were the bigger up because they had more power over you, but it was just too much work. Like I just couldn't take the back talk. Like these managers really run over you like like you're nothing. But like in this world, I learned so much though. Like I learned that every struggle that I face, that I'm gonna survive it, and it's gonna be okay. Like it could all be worse. Like that's what I've learned. Like I'm not homeless. You know, I still have a roof over my head, even though that I don't have a job right now. Even though I'm struggling to get views on YouTube, and even though I'm struggling to get noticed into the world that I want to be in, I'm still fighting it day by day. I wake up every day with a new day. You know, every day is not the same, so I always keep going. Even if life is hard right now, I'm still going. I'm still pressing the gas. Like it has been rough. Trust me, it's been rough for me, but I'm not giving up until this point. You know, I gotta get a reward for the pain that I'm going through. Like I've been going through the whole entire struggle. You know, and mind you, I'm doing this alone with barely any support. You know, I had a few family friends support me. You know, they would support my business, and I like that. I enjoyed the support. You know, but it's like I wanted to grow so bad that I didn't realize like the reason why I wanted to grow so bad was because I hated my situation. I hated the jobs that I had because I felt like I was bossed around. I felt like the people that were bossing me around weren't even a boss. They just had power over me so that they could just say whatever and everything goes their way. You know, I wanted power too, and I felt like I never had power at a job. The only power I had was the little money I was making. I wasn't making no money, you know, so that's why I just wanted to grow and elevate and have something bigger. I was always a dreamer, you know. Ever since I had a dream, like my life has changed. And without a dream, your life will never change. And that's why people need to have dreams in their lives. Because if you don't have a dream, then you're gonna be stuck stranded. You're gonna be stuck lost. And I really made it out of the jungle. Like it was rough. You know, I always felt like a slave. I always felt like I was under worth what I was worth. You know, I never put my standards up. You know, I was always comfortable with a job. And it's like I never want to be comfortable in my life now. That's why I always take the risk right now, because comfort is what's gonna kill your dreams way faster than your doubts will ever kill your dreams. Like I remember days where I was tired. I didn't want to post, but I still posted. Why? Because I had to manifest something bigger than what I was facing. And that's the way I survived in life, is by manifesting way more than what I am. You know, I'm great. My mindset is great. My mindset is on another level. And guess what? When I started showing my motivational videos at work at Donata to certain people that talked to me, you know, I had to open up, but they enjoyed my motivational videos. People were telling me I should be a motivational speaker. My dad was telling me I should be a motivational speaker. And that's what I am. I am a motivational speaker. But I just don't have the fans. I don't have the following yet. But guess what? I'm gonna keep on going, and guess what? Something is gonna go viral, and it's gonna change my life. It might not change it a lot, but it's gonna change something. You know, it's gonna prove me right. Like I was right all along. Like I've learned so much about this year. Like I paid off my credit card debt, and but I still took the risk. Like most people are not gonna take the risk, even if it's financial. Like they want everything to be perfect when they start it, and it's not going to be perfect the way you want it to. Like it is hard, like, but I'm still pushing. I'm still here. Like I'm still going. I still love what I do every single day, and nothing's going to change that unless my circumstances is so uncontrollably happening bad to me. But things, it's not gonna be over until I say it's over. I'm gonna keep on going no matter what. But I ended up leaving my job at Donata. November 13th was my last day, and people were telling me I was crazy because I didn't have another job lined up. But guess what? Nobody's crazy, because I know what's gonna happen, and I know that I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna at least do what I enjoy doing, and I'm gonna do a good job at it. Why? Because I'm always bettering myself at everything that I do every single day. And that's another thing. When you work a job you hate, especially, you don't improve because you know the skill set already. You've done the same thing over and over again. So it does not matter whether you know, actually excel. No supervisor is gonna notice your hard work because they don't even get paid to care. So why would they look hard and give you a raise right then and there? Every time I was trying to get employee of the month at my job, I never gotten it. I've gotten it one time, but after that, I fell off because it didn't matter to me anymore because you don't get the same, work ethic all the time. You get paid so little, but yet they don't want to give you anything for what you're worth, and you're worth way more than that. So why not be worth more? Truly value yourself at a price point that you know that you want, and have a plan to set action to actually get that done and get it out of your head, because sometimes people are too stuck on in their head. You're stuck in your negative thoughts, you're stuck in your negative habits, but that's not going to get you out of what you're facing right now. So keep on pushing. Like, you got this. Take it easy, take it day by day, but you don't have to get it overnight. That's why people get too confused in their life. you know I was too focused on the glitz and the glamour. I was too focused on, you know, shiny object syndrome, that I wanted a Lamborghini. I wanted a Rolls Royce. I wanted all these fancy cars. Why? Because every person that had that fancy car was successful. Everybody who had that fancy car got pictures and so many likes on their page. I wanted that recognition. But guess what? When I chased my dream, I got recognition also because I was serving a community. I was serving a small group of people that needed my services. And I had the services to offer. Most people don't offer any services. All they have to offer is their job, and their paycheck is so small that they are not happy with it. Like, you have to be happy with your services. You have to be happy with your talent. You cannot let your talent just evaporate by not doing anything. Let your talent speak for you, and you can chase your dreams all day, every day. You have the chance to grow, feed yourself, give yourself energy, have the hunger, plant the seed, and just watch it grow. I used to listen to Jim Rohn every single day when I worked at Adidas because I needed a way to make more income, because I wanted to make so much income to the point where I can travel and be free. You listen to Jim Rohn, you listen to Zig Ziglar, you listen to any motivational speaker, Eric Thomas or Mel Robbins. Like, you listen to these people and you listen to them speak life into your heart, and guess what? You're never gonna feel as much fear as you did, because that's what stopped me in the beginning, was fear. I was too afraid to take the risk of it, to leave my job. I was too comfortable to leave. But life will happen to you to the point where you have to leave no matter what. you know if if Adidas had never cut the contract with Kanye West, I would still be there. If Donata never changed my schedule to that schedule I couldn't do, I would still be there to this day. I would still have a job. I would still not, you know, be broke right now. I'm broke right now because I took the leap of faith. I'm broke right now because I took a risk. I'm broke because I tell myself I'm broke, but I'm not broke. I'm just not there yet. I'm not rich yet. I'm not wealthy yet. But guess what? When I am, you cannot say anything because I worked hard for it to get there, to make it real life. I work hard every day. This is a job. I don't get paid, but this is a job of passion that keeps me going. That's why I don't do it for the money, because the money is, if the money was in the equation, I would have been left already. But that's why I can't, because every time I feel as if I'm not doing anything right, someone says something that makes me, push harder. They always comment and say, "Oh, thank you. I needed this." And that's what keeps me going. Is the fact that I'm giving impact. Like, if you are chasing money over impact, then you're going to be chasing money till you die. But if you chase the impact over money, guess what? You're helping other people. The impact is what's going to save your life. You cannot just expect to get all the time and be greedy. You become greedy. I became greedy once. When you have the greedy mindset, you just keep chasing the highest number. It's like, I don't want to keep chasing high numbers. I want the numbers to chase me. I don't want to just keep chasing, chasing, chasing. You chase two rabbits at once, you're not going to catch one at all. And when you take risks, it's like you learn from the risk that you're taking from. So don't think that you're taking risks is not for a reason. You are positive and you're making sure that your dream is happening. So keep working hard as it goes, as it flows. And the biggest skill that I've learned of all is to not quit and to not give up on myself. Not giving up is what's made me successful this far. I would have never imagined I would have been at this point till today. But guess what? I know myself. I study every day, material every day. I study how to move, how to work. I keep on going. I'm always fighting. I have to fight. I have to make my dreams come true. I gotta win, right? You know, I had to help some homeless person when I was buying lunch one day because I felt bad. I felt bad for him. I was like, if I don't feed this guy, he might not even be able to eat for a whole 2 more days. I had the money to be able to help. Now, imagine if you didn't have the money to be able to help. So, what are you going to do? Don't make your dreams about you all the time. Make your dreams bigger than you. That's why when you make your dreams bigger than you, you're going to work harder every single day and your eyes are going to be lit up and you're going to open up to the new world that was always hidden from you. You got this. Keep pushing that dream. You know, People will always count you out because you're not successful. And don't allow that. If you let people to count you out bother you, then you're not meant to win. You're not meant to thrive. You're meant to thrive. You're meant to strive for more. You're meant to win. You're meant to keep on pushing for your dreams. Keep fighting. You gotta have your heart pounding. You gotta have that itch to scratch, that hard itch. That's what you're gonna do. You have the strong will and the more reasons to keep on going. You could have quit a long time ago, but you haven't yet. So keep going there. Keep going all in. Lock in. And that's why most people are not successful because they don't lock in on themselves. They're going to wait until the perfect moment to lock in. It's not going to happen perfectly. It's not going to happen perfectly. And this is why I didn't mind taking the risk at my job either because I knew if I can do YouTube and I can be happy doing it, then my whole feeling about the world would change. Like I see opportunities everywhere now. I can create opportunities everywhere where I'm at. When you're working at a job, you don't really see any opportunities to take because you're just already getting paid the regular salary that you're getting paid. And you're not going to get a raise unless they raise it automatically for you or unless you ask for it or unless you have to go for a strike for it. So you're not going to work harder than what you're getting. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm working hard and making sure that I'm getting the worth that I am. I'm making sure that I'm being stronger every single day. I'm fighting for every single day because every day is a gift, and every day you have to take that gift and make sure that you are present in life. If you're not present in life, if you are lost in life, if you are blind, you have to open your eyes to see. You have to open your mouth and talk. You have to use the power of the mouth wisely so that you can talk life into your life. You have to talk smart things in your life. You have to talk positive things in your life. You have to open the new way of thinking in your life because the way you think is the way you feel, and the way you feel has to be at a good standpoint. You have to turn up your thermostat because sometimes you are too used to the cold temperatures. Why not up the heat a bit so that you can have more room to breathe and be yourself? You're gonna win by being yourself. And I remember at Adidas when there was a particular time where I kept on faking who I was. As in, when I would greet customers, I would smile like this. Hi, how are you? Have a big smile, right? But they would always say hi. Then you have to say hi. Do you need any help today? They would say no. And I would ask 10 people in a row, hi, how are you today? Do you need any help today? They would say no. And guess what? I hated doing that. But if I never said hi to them, then the supervisor will look at you and say, hey, you're not saying hi. You're not greeting the customers. And it's like, why aren't you doing that? So now it's not a part of your job to not greet them. So now your boss is taking notes of you. So you have to really be on top of everything when you're in customer service. If you're not on top of everything when you're in customer service, they will note you and they will write you up. I've had so many jobs in my life to the point where it's like, it's crazy. I've had 23 jobs in my life and I'm 27 years old. Now imagine that. You might think like I'm a bad worker, but I just don't fit in with work because the work it's just there for the money. Like, if it wasn't for the money, 9 times out of 10, I would not be there. So it's like, I don't miss my job. I just miss getting paid all the time. But it's just like, man, like, you really have to open up your new world right now, because your new world is waiting for you on the other side of fear. Don't beg for change, create the change. Don't think that if you work hard, that your hard work is not gonna be real. Your hard work is real, even if the results are small, even if you're not seeing the reward as quick enough as you wanted to. Do not expect to win as quick enough as you wanted to, because it's not going to happen the way you wanted to, and you're going to be disappointed when it's not happening the way that you wanted to. Win at your own pace. Do not look at other people. Focus on your own lane. Do not try 10 things at once. Focus on one thing. Pour all of your energy into one thing so that you can make the greatness out of your life come true. Because if you're putting in too many things at once, you're not going to give attention to all, and you're going to be distracted. You cannot be distracted. You know, when you're in your car, you need to focus on the big picture of where you're going. There's a reason why the rear view mirror are so small, because you're not supposed to be looking this way while you're driving. You're supposed to be looking this way when you're going to your destination. And you need to not give up on your destination. It does not matter if it takes days, if it takes months to get there, years to get there. You know, you have to put in that hard work and that grind every single day. Just keep on staying focused. Just know that the reward is way bigger than your pain. Just know that the reward is way bigger than in the now in your heart that you're facing. It's okay to fail. People don't think that it's okay to fail, because that's not what's posted online. That's not what's posted online. But you need to boost yourself up even when you feel down. All you got to do is turn that smile upside down. And guess what? You're going to really keep on flourishing. You know, the way you put your face out there in the world is the way that someone is going to read your whole entire life. So if your face is like this, that means that your life is speaking life to that person. But if your face is like you're all mad and stuff, then that person is going to look at you negatively, and they're automatically going to judge you. People always judge the book by its cover. Even though they should not, they always do. So always make sure that your appearance is the best at all times. You cannot doubt yourself at any given second. If the moment that you doubt yourself is the moment that you're quitting on yourself, never doubt yourself. Always stay focused. Always keep running. The clock is ticking. And guess what? You cannot afford to waste time on petty stuff. That petty stuff is not going to get you to your dreams. Every day that you take to give yourself a negative talk is the day that you're wasting time. Give that same negative energy and shift it to positive energy, to make that positiveness overload, so that you can almost spread that energy that you have in you to give it to everybody that's around you, so that you don't have to keep all this energy to yourself. The energy that you have needs to come out of you and put it towards the universe, and make sure that you speak life into the universe. Tell the universe what you want. Tell it what you want. Manifest it. Have the vision. Have the goal. No matter how big the goal is, it does not matter. The bigger, the better. The harder you're going to work, the harder you're going to strive, and the less it's going to take for you to want to give up. You cannot give up when you're fighting your biggest passion. You cannot fight it. You got to just work it out. It's all going to work out. And that's one of the main reasons why I keep going to this day, because I know it's going to work out. I know I can't force myself to do something that I don't want to do. But if I want to do it, then guess what? I'm the most happiest doing it, and I'm the most enthusiast doing it. And guess what? My passion is what's going to save my life from slavery, from the rat race. I had to know what the rat race was so that I can escape from it. But if I don't escape from it, then I'm going to be stuck in it. And the rat race is always doing the same cycle over and over again. And you know you want to escape, but you're too afraid to escape, because you don't know what's going to happen after you escape, so that unknown keeps you in the box. Don't be in the box. Get yourself out of the box. The more space that you have, the more better it is for you to breathe. So get yourself out the box. Think outside the box. Let your mind captivate the way you move in life. Don't just do things without thinking. At least think first, write it down, see if it makes sense, and then execute. But don't just execute and you don't have a plan, because without a plan, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna achieve it. So do it with your best foot forward and always succeed with the best mindset. The best mindset is, if you don't have one, get one from somebody else. Surround yourself with greatness, like minded people that's gonna want to see you win, because you're gonna win no matter what. And you cannot give up no matter if you're stuck. Being stuck is worth it, and being lost is worth it, because you then find who the true version of yourself is. But that's how you win in life, that's how you survive. But my life 2024 would not be like it is if I didn't go through all these struggles that I've mentioned in this video today. Yes, this video was long, 1 hour, but I hope you got some knowledge out of it, and I hope I motivated you. Hope you watched it all the way through. But I truly appreciate you, and I hopefully this year changes my life and I'll be happier and I'll be more upbeat. But I truly appreciate you for watching, sticking to this long. And please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and send this to a friend if you truly enjoyed this podcast episode today. And thank you. This was recorded on my iPhone, so there's no excuses. But thank you for watching and have a good one. Let's go.